I'd try this a new way. I'm gonna show you the tricks that I know. I'm getting tired of talking, and I need more of a show right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay, 'cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. You got me up tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around, no, I won't be turning around. It's the right time, I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I will win tonight. I think I'll do it on my way. I'm gonna show you what I'm going through, get you out of your comfort zone, 'cause I need more of the truth right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay, 'cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. You got me up tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around, no, I won't be turning around. It's the right time, I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I will win tonight. Don't forget it, don't forget it, don't forget it. We'll turn this around. Don't forget it, don't forget it, don't forget it. We'll turn this around. I guess I'm gonna stay, but I'm just gonna wait in the background, watching you talk to her. I know this might look bad, but I'm just gonna melt in the background, watching you lean into her. I'm a fool. I just wanna get close to you. Yeah, I wanna get close. I'm a fool. I know. Are you thinking about us too? 'Cause I don't know. Are you missing it just like I do? Are you worried about me too? 'Cause I'm thinking aloud, I'm wondering about you, eh? I don't even know what it feels like when your eyes are staring at me. I miss them. I'm about to lose it. All of my friends telling me to leave for the night. It's for the best. I'm a fool. I just wanna get close to you. Yeah, I wanna get close. I'm a fool. I next to you every night. No, I shouldn't love you, but I might. 'Cause your lips, they taste like cherry wine. You're no good for me, we're so bittersweet, but I still want you, I do. Baby, can't you see what you do to me? I just can't resist you. You got me drunk in love, I can't sleep. I need to sober up from this dream. But I can't deny, I can't deny you. I can't deny, I can't deny you. Na 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 na
What's up, y'all? Sean here. Welcome to Tuesday Night Studio Sessions. I'll be your host. We've got an interesting show tonight. I don't really have much to say because I just got home from camp and I'm tired. But we are going to soldier on through this live stream because I've committed to you guys that I was going to live stream every Tuesday night. There's been times when I've live streamed from a ball game that my son was playing in. And sitting in my car getting some coffee or buying something off Facebook Marketplace. So I'm very committed to doing this live stream for you guys. And what we're going to talk about tonight is just kind of like camp. Just got back from camp, got my camp t-shirt on. And yeah, this is the pre-show. So let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. And yeah, I think we're going to have a good night. So, Stephen Jones, welcome to the show. Glad you're here. A lot happened this week. And it was one of those times where I was around people for 4 days. A lot of people having a lot of fun. And COVID, it's kind of taken that from me. I don't work with people in person anymore. I don't go outside. When I go to eat, I go through the drive-thru and don't really talk to people or see people. About the only interaction I ever get is when I take my son to football practice and work from a truck stop. So, but it was really, really great to be around people. And so I think I'm going to change some things about my life to be around people some more. And that might spark a new interest in the YouTube channel to where I'm making more videos. I really think the funk on my channel has come from just being kind of in a funk in my own life. So working on myself, working on the channel. Yeah, I'm just excited about a new chapter in my life. So, yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I got coffee a while back, but then I had a conversation. So my coffee is a little cold, but that's okay. It's still going to give me some caffeine. And I didn't really have time to set my office back up the way I wanted it. So yeah. I thought I had my screen back there set to a screensaver. So let me fix that real quick. I got all up in your business just then. So oh, I know what happened. I think I want that. So bear with me. I got a new MacBook Pro, so I'm trying to work it out. And they've changed some things, so maybe it's just here. Well, I had it so it wouldn't turn off, but I think I'm just going to throw it in screensaver mode. So there's a little bit of color back there. How's that? So Stephen Jones asked what kind of camp it was. So it was a youth camp for my church. So my son was there as a camper. My daughter was there as a camper. My wife was there as a counselor. She also directed the camp going up to camp. So she got all the logistics and the admin stuff done for the camp. And so yeah, it was just a really good time. I was the videographer, so I videographed things the whole time. But it was good. So now I'm just trying to get some things done. I'm trying to put all the trying to get everything situated so people can download videos and all that jazz. So but yeah, it's pretty exciting. So I do have videos from the camp, but they're copyrighted, so I can't play the music to them. And the music really, really helps. But I will show you guys probably some videos from the camp. But I can't make any money. Well, I don't know if it's right for me to play videos from the camp on my YouTube channel, because this live stream is monetized, and there is a shady area of me putting minors without permission on my YouTube channel for money. So I don't think I can show you the videos for camp, but I can tell you I can tell you about the videos. And I thought I would tell you about kind of the technology that I used and what I learned, the stuff that I purchased for camp and the stuff that I didn't use, the stuff that I fell back on. And just, I learned a lot. I learn a lot every year when I'm at camp, because I don't have much time to do the things that I do. So I have to enjoy the camp just like everybody else. I have to be at all the functions of camp just like everybody else. So there's there's cabin cleanup time, there's free time, there's a couple things going on during the day that I can kind of pull myself aside and get some editing done. But to be honest, I edit. My editing is like a powerhouse. I don't have much time. I basically use all of the skills that I've learned from this YouTube channel and cram it into speed dating. It's what I'll do is I'll grab a whole bunch of footage. There were a couple days that it kind of rained off and on. So 2 days during the games, I used my GoPros instead of anything else because I thought it was going to rain. I took my GoPro Max out and got some beautiful footage of, I took some 360 video. And then there was one song that it's kind of a Christmas song, but it's kind of like a Christian rap song. but it starts out with angels we have heard on high. And there's like this really, it's like kind of a, I don't know, just like kind of like a R&B type song. And every time that hook came in, I went from Tiny Planet into, it was a ropes course is what it was. So we were out playing on the ropes course, and I would go from a Tiny Planet, and I would spin the Tiny Planet and move into the game. And I timed it so that it would go through that whole bar of angels we have heard on high, angels we have heard, angels we have heard on high. Oh. And then the beat would hit, and I would take my Tiny Planet and then turn it around into a very warped view of the woods. And we were in the woods, so there's like all these trees like flying around. So it turned out really, really good. For those of you that are friends with me on Facebook, I will probably post it on Facebook. But I can't put it on here where I am getting, where my videos are monetized and all that. And I'm also working on a website that will have the footage and stuff on it, but I'm probably not going to send that link out. But yeah, I had a great time. My kids had a great time. I'm just exhausted. I'm really surprised I still have a voice because I yelled all week. Yep, Nacho, it's just two of us. Just the two of us. We can live stream if we try. But there's never a dull moment on Sean Knight Studios. Actually, there usually is. I don't know why I should say that. But I can show you the camp t-shirt. The camp t-shirt, I actually designed the camp t-shirt first before I designed the t-shirts for my channel that Steven Drones bought one of. So I reused the inspiration. I'll just say that. But here's the shirt. And I kind of used this is like downtown Nashville. And then this is a reflection of downtown Nashville. And it's the new normal. Like, you go to camp, and when you come back from camp, you won't be the same. It's a new normal. And it was kind of play on COVID and stuff like that. But so, yeah, that's the shirt. And we ordered olive, but then it came out in this kind of, I don't know, leafy green color. And I really like it. I think it looks better than olive would have. So, and the kids loved them, the shirts. So it was a good time. After coming back from camp, I think I'm going to grow my hair out. So I haven't had long hair in a while. We'll see. It's still pretty thin up top. So the weight of my hair might pull it down too far, but we'll see what happens. But yeah. The GoPros were actually really fun. So I took, when I took the GoPros out, I did everything at camp. I did it in 1080. I wasn't even going to try to render files in 4K and all that kind of stuff. So I did everything in 1080, and which made my GoPros awesome because both the 8 and the 9. So I had the 8 with me. I had the 9. And I gave my 8 to a guy at camp. But I used them before I gave it to him. And they both do 240 frames per second in 1080. So I was able to get some killer slow-mo. I only really slowed things down to about 25%. But I kind of want to go back and just make a really cool slow-mo video of all my GoPro footage. Like we played this game at the lake where we put campers in kayaks and just kind of placed them throughout the lake. And then someone had to stand, there's like this platform, like kind of a deck that you can dive off of in the middle of the lake. And so we put two teams up there of two people, and they had to, one of them had their back to the battleships, like all the kayaks, and they threw the water balloon backwards. And if they hit somebody, then one of the counselors dunked, flipped the kayak over, and they got some points or whatever. And so I was kind of standing in the middle of all the battleships, and I got some really cool footage of people getting hit with water balloons, and the water balloons bursting. And then we did a relay race with color powder. And so I used my GoPro. I had one of the girls run at me and throw colored powder right on my camera. So that shot was really cool. And then I got some close-ups I had a close-up of another girl, and she had red powder hit her face. And so it ended up being like the slow-mo, like that particular game was very, very cool with slow-mo. I wanted to get the drone out, but I was afraid I was going to be like the one game that we played was really, really spread out. And I think my drone I took my DJI Mavic Air 2S. Wait, no, the DJI Air 2S to camp with that expectation. I was going to, fly it around and stuff. But then never really got to a point where kids weren't there. So I was going to do some reveals when I got there before the kids got there, but everybody was unloading their cars and stuff. So it wasn't really that good of footage. And then the rest of the week, it kind of rained off and on. So the air was really humid and moist. And so I decided not to do any of that. So Nacho was tent camping, and we were in cabins, Steve. So we had a good time in our cabins. They're actually really nice cabins. It was a really nice camp. The food was good. It was at Camp to Know Him in Pisgah, Alabama. There was one night that we got on like off-road army trucks. Well, it was one truck and then a bus, and went to an amphitheater that was on top of this mountain overlooking Tennessee River. And it was beautiful. It was something like a lookout in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It was beautiful. So Nacho was camping this weekend. He had a good time, and he even made a video short. Nice. Can I show that video short, Nacho, on the channel? If you give me your permission, I'll go look it up and find it. All right, it's on Facebook. I'll check it out. All right. All right. So you said the music is safe. Is the music from Epidemic Sounds or YouTube safe? All right. It's gonna give me a seizure, man. Oh, got a little 360 video on there. Nice. Oh, that's a beautiful camp spot. Nice. Whoa, cancel. That's a cool video, Nacho. I like that. Oh, the other person was your son? Very cool. Very cool. You like shorts? I'm more of a pants guy myself. I'm just kidding. So I can kind of show you guys I guess I'll show you guys the website that I'm working on, and I can play. I can place. Oh, maybe I didn't share the audio. I don't think I shared the audio on that, so that's okay. What is happening there? Whew. That was kind of freaking out, wasn't it? So this is the website that I'm working on. It's freaking out. Let me go to a different. So I'm putting it. This is like the camp video page. Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to do this. So, yep. I don't think that's appropriate. So I'll talk about kind of what I did. So I ended up getting the MacBook Pro with the M1 chip in it the day before camp. So I put Final Cut Pro on it. Put the Insta360 Studio on there. I had to run like a Rosetta emulator so that I could use that app, because they don't have it updated for Mac Silicone. So I used Final Cut Pro, and I had to power edit. I had to go through and take the audio in the clip where in every place it spiked. I would go through and throw a clip, and I'd find another cool clip and I'd throw it there, and then I'd throw another clip in there. So I got to where I could edit a 3-minute video or 4-minute video, however long the song was. I could edit it in about 10 minutes and knock it out. Then I'd go back and I'd throw transitions in it, and it was kind of an appropriate transition for the clip. Sometimes I did glitches. Sometimes I did some kind of prismatic type transitions and stuff. So I think what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to go out and record a bunch of footage and then do a tutorial on how I edited that footage. So I think that would be good. And I've decided to take my old YouTube channel, and I know I say this all the time. What am I going to do with that old YouTube channel? Well, I'm going to turn that into how to create a YouTube channel. It's going to be my YouTube channel tips and tricks. I'm going to leave it up there. I'm going to do everything that I learned in doing Shawnide Studios. I'm going to put a little helpful hint on that channel. I'm going to come up with little like 5-minute shorts on how to create a YouTube channel, how to deal with monetization, how to deal with Amazon, ways to make money on the channel, ways to do live streaming for free. And I'm going to try to do it on the cheap. I'm going to try to teach people how to start a YouTube channel and not invest much money into it, but do something that they love with. So I'm going to talk about different cameras, different types of cameras. Maybe you just have a phone, and there was one night where my phone did a better job than some of the really expensive cameras that I took to camp, just because it was so low light that they wouldn't do anything. But the HDR on my phone created light somehow. So we're going to talk about that on that channel, and that's just going to be like a YouTuber's. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but I'm working out something like Creators Workshop or something like that. And it's going to be simply how to create for the web. It might not be strictly on YouTube, like strictly about YouTube. I might, use Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and, actually market that channel and just see how it goes. I talked last week about how I don't want to be pigeonholed into being a YouTuber that only does drone videos. I don't want to be that guy anymore. I loved watching Nacho's video. There was a time where Nacho was doing a whole bunch of Insta360 videos and drone videos, and then he just decided to stop. I loved watching his video and seeing that he enjoyed making a video again, because that stopped for a while. He was discouraged. And for him to break out the cameras again and and have fun editing something that he enjoyed, I thought that was amazing. So I'd rather do that than to make this YouTube channel feel like work. So that's where we're going. I'm still going to review things that I have and things that I plan on buying, but I'm not going to spend a lot of money on the channel much anymore. I say that, and I have said that. I said I wasn't going to spend much money this year, and I have. But most of the money that I've spent this year is from selling stuff that I bought last year. So there's that. So Stephen Jones asks for the link. Are you talking about the link to my other YouTube channel? I'm actually not sure what the link is. I don't think I have. An actual link for that. I'm just going to search myself on YouTube. How's that? Oh, it's side 2. So that's the link. So, and the story behind side 2 is that was my DJ name in college. I thought it was a cool play on, tape cassettes where there was side 1 and side 2. And then my name is Sean Ide. So my first initial is S of my first name and my last name is Ide. So side. And then 2, my father is Steve Ide. So he's side 1 and I'm side 2. So that's where that came from. It's kind of random. But I'm going to leave some of the videos that are up there on it. Because there's some good videos on there. I also used it as test footage for my channel. So I think I'll leave all of that video up. I just will. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. There's a lot of random stuff on there. So we'll see. And you can see where I tried to turn into a VR channel. I tried to turn it like it was just a test footage channel. So it was going to be the lab. So anyway, I'm going to come up with a logo and all that kind of stuff. Jimmy Hansen, what's up? Jimmy Hansen got himself an Air 2S. How do you like it, Jimmy? I love my Air 2S. I think it's awesome. I sold my Air 2, and I'm giving my Air to a friend. He's just a young guy that I really want to bless. I think he's an amazing guy. So I'm giving him my GoPro 8 and I'm giving him my DJI Air 2 and going to teach him how to use it. And he's newly married, so hopefully he'll get a bunch of cool footage of his family and stuff he does. So Jimmy says his Air 2S is a step up from his Mini. I would agree. It's definitely a step up. I would say the Air 2S is a step up from just about anything. It's the Mavic 2 Pro is about the only thing that I think is better right now as far as the DJI lineup. I mean, in my opinion, it's got the same camera as the Mavic Pro 2, but I think the Mavic Pro 2 still, since it's bigger, I think it can handle a little bit more wind and stuff like that. But the Air 2S, the Air 2 is amazing, and the Air 2S just took it to the next level. So very awesome. Whoa, we got a bunch of people in here. I guess everybody was over watching Dad Random and not Sean Ide. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care. Welcome to the show, y'all. Looks like we got some people in here now. I'm excited. So what we've been talking about is we've been talking about camp. We watched a video from Nacho of his camping trip. And then I was talking about how I'm just excited for the next chapter of my life. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the old Sean Ide channel into a YouTube tips and tricks. Well, I don't know what it's going to be called yet. It might be called Creator Studio or Creator Toots. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be called yet, but it's going to be a channel for, just starting a YouTube channel. I've been doing this for 4 years, and I have learned a lot in 4 years. So I thought it'd be cool to take my journey at this point and run a YouTube channel about, creating a YouTube channel. It might not be something that a lot of my subscribers are interested in, but I might get a lot of new people that are trying to start a YouTube channel. And I have so many things to talk about for that channel. I've got lighting, I've got backgrounds, I've got, live streaming, video editing. Like, there are so many things that I could talk about there. But so I'm thinking about doing that with my old channel, or I might do an archive channel. Or I might just kill that channel altogether. What would you guys think if I added tutorial type videos on this channel? I know a lot of you guys watch me for my drones and my ravishing personality, but yeah, I'm just trying to find things to talk about now. Once a drone comes out and it's been out for a little while, I don't have anything to talk about. New cameras aren't coming out and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Welcome. Eat More Possums in the house. Bob Casey showed up. And Steven Drones, I haven't forgot about you. I'm going to send you your stickers this week. But I hope you understood last week that I was overwhelmed with camp. But so Jimmy Hansen thinks that tutorials is a great idea. So cool. Yeah. I feel like I have a lot to offer, and the drone, I feel like the drone market is getting a little stale for me. Everything flies, everything is good in, shoots 4K, 5K, 6K, 8K now. It's great to show off new toys, but it's an expensive YouTube channel. Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. Steve was looking in the mail every day for them stickers. I promise I'll get them out this week. I promise you. So we're also talking about I got a MacBook Pro, the M1 edition. So it has a silicone chip in it. And it runs Final Cut Pro like a boss. The only thing that I don't like about it is it has two USB-C ports, and I have to run everything through a dongle, or at least currently. I'm going to get a better docking station, but the docking station kept, like, I ran everything on a 500 gig Ninja V hard drive, and every once in a while it would, I think it was too much for the dongle, and it would eject itself by accident. So then my Final Cut Pro wouldn't save. I would have to shut down Final Cut Pro and bring it back up. But when it came to rendering files, and it came to, everything on Final Cut Pro, even rendering 360 video, it screamed so fast. I've got the reason I got the MacBook Pro instead of the MacBook Air, because the MacBook Airs are cheaper. The MacBook Pro has fans in it, so it doesn't overheat as much. So that worked out really well. So Bob Casey would like to see a video on 360 and how to edit it. So that's a good idea. Bob Casey, what camera do you have? Just curious. I think I can. I told you guys I wasn't going to show videos from camp, but I think I can show you one. And I'll just show you kind of, fast forward some clips real quick. So I'm going to show this, and I'm going to try to move it whenever it gets to the kids, because I don't really want to show their faces and stuff. This is the Camp TV logo. So I did kind of a 360 wraparound to all the campers on the ropes course. And then started here and moved back out. So I used it to kind of get everything going on. And then when it zoomed out, then I kind of moved it around to that. So that's kind of what I did with the 360 camera. And it was a lot of fun. It was the video that took the longest to render. But it worked out really well. I did get some really, really awesome shots at night during the, when we all kind of met and we had like stage lighting and stuff like that. I used my Nifty 50 on my Canon C100 Mark II, and it worked out amazing, except it was so zoomed in that I couldn't really get far enough back from it. So I've always wanted to have that lens on a camera, but I didn't realize how zoomed in it really is. So I ended up using other lenses. But if I could get like a lens that wasn't so zoomed in, but had wonderful bokeh. I love bokeh. But the blur, like I could get a kid, like the kid's face, and the person behind him was like completely blurry. And so those shots looked wonderful. So I'm hoping to figure that out before next year. I might sell a whole drone and get just an amazing lens for it, because the footage looks wonderful. The one, I think, is a 1.8 aperture. The low light on that 1.8 aperture looked amazing. It's the best video I've gotten out of a camera to date, even though it was just 1080. I mean, it looked wonderful. So I've got to figure out how I've got to find a lens with that type of aperture that makes all of my footage look that good. It was so good looking. So we're going to be working on that. Yeah. I showed the people that were here in the pre-show my shirt, so I'll show you guys. This is like a silhouette of Nashville, Tennessee. This is another silhouette of Nashville, but it's inverted. And it's not inverted. It's kind of a reflection. And the whole point of it, the camp, was new normal. So, when you come back from camp, you won't be the same as you were before. It's kind of a play on COVID, where everybody was like, now this is the new normal. We all wear masks everywhere and stuff like that. So that's what that's about. I have bug bites everywhere, so I don't like that. There was one night when I laid down in the bunk and I had my cell phone charger plugged into the wall, and I went to plug in my phone, and there were 3 mosquitoes just sitting there waiting to munch on me. I got one of them, but then the other 2 got me. So, yep, that's. I appreciate that, Bob. Yeah, I'm not the only, like, whenever I do camp, I'm not the only one making decisions. So, so the idea that was presented to me was the Upside Down Kingdom, and having a new logo, or sorry, a new normal. And so I was given that kind of direction, and then I took it there. Bob Casey said that's why they make Deep Woods off. I hate bug spray. I hate the way it smells. I hate the way my skin feels when it's on. And then I don't want to lay in bed. I don't want to get it in my shoes. I don't want to get it on my cameras. So I just kind of stay away from the bug spray, get munched on all week, and then spend the next week healing. So, but yeah, we tried one year when we went camping. We were tent camping, and I bought it was like a high frequency noise bug deterrent, but it didn't work at all. So Mel said, not sure if they had to put 2 mosquitoes on the ark. I don't know. I don't know about bugs and stuff like that. I never thought about bugs. Or even birds. Well, I know there were birds on the ark. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. So Bob never liked the smell, but man, it really works. 40% deets for when in the woods stops ticks. He hates ticks. Yeah, I don't like ticks either. I had a friend that got Lyme disease from a tick, and she wasn't the same for several years. So yeah, ticks are bad news. I don't like ticks. Oh, Mel said, that's funny. Either way, they could have left them behind. Yep. I'm sure mosquitoes are good for something. I don't know. I heard where, like, they're using leeches in medicine to kind of bring the blood up to the surface and stuff. And I forget what that was for. I don't know if it was a skin graft or what, but they used leeches, I think, to suck the blood back into the skin that they had taken off of something. Someone was telling me that story this week. Bob Casey says, I bet there's a lot of people that have Lyme disease and don't know it. I bet you're right. I probably have all kinds of things wrong with me that I don't know about. Mostly mental. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I've got these kind of weird bumps on my feet and stuff like that sometimes I think it's from mowing the yard, and because I'm allergic to grass. And so I'll wear shoes and I'll mow the yard, and I'll be outside for maybe a couple hours just kind of sweating with all that grass. I don't know if it's sap, but like, the fluid that comes out of grass, the chlorophyll or chloroform or whatever comes out of grass on my legs and my feet. That nervous twitch is not showing up so much on you tonight. Are you talking about my little eye twitch that was happening? Yeah, I'm feeling really good. I had a great week at camp. Yeah. So something that someone wanted me to bring back to the channel was $20 Tuesdays. So I might be bringing something like that, like how to build something on the cheap, to rig things out. And I'm going to try to just, I'm going to make a video completely with my phone and record my screen the whole time while I'm editing the video, and we're going to upload that. Little things like that. So I took some really expensive cameras to camp. I took the Canon C100 Mark II that I've been showing you the last couple of weeks. It was a wonderful camera. It worked out great, but I haven't had enough practice with it to do all of my run and gun stuff that I usually do at camp. So there was one day where I took video for maybe a couple hours, and there was a hair on the lens. And for some reason that doesn't show up much on other cameras, but it really showed up on the lens that I had. There was another time where the thing I didn't like about it was when I had the Nifty 50 on it that had amazing aperture, I couldn't zoom at all. And I didn't realize how much I use zoom until all of a sudden I have a prime lens on it and I can't zoom anywhere. And when you're in a room full of kids and you only, it's like standing room only, everybody's crammed in together, and I'm in the corner pointing at stuff, I can't move in and out of the shot. Like I can't get up in somebody's face, or I don't have enough room to pull back from them. So I use that zoom a lot to frame my shot. So that was one thing that I didn't like about using the cinema camera with interchangeable lenses. The other thing that kind of bugged me a little bit was changing the lenses was frustrating. So in order to get different types of shots, I had to keep swapping the lens, whereas a lot of the camcorders that I've used in the past, I'm able to change settings on the camera, zoom in and out on the fly, and get different shots without doing any changing to the camera. I want to get into cinema camera because when I got the video right, it was wonderful footage, gorgeous footage. But there were a lot of shots that I missed because I was fumbling around with my gear. And one of the things that one of the things I started this channel on was knowing your gear, like learning how to use your gear, and you guys watching me learn how to use my gear, and learning as I learned. So when you're finally out in the field using your camera, you don't have to fumble because you already made all the mistakes while you were practicing. And that's kind of something this YouTube channel was formed on. And I wish I had had maybe a month to play around with the camera around people. I did get to, play around with it, but they were scenarios that were different than the scenarios at camp. There were like however many kids, I don't remember how many kids, but there's a whole room full of kids, and I'm pointing my camera in different places, and some shots would happen. Sometimes it would not focus on what I was pointing at. So there were a lot of things that I think I would do differently. And the lens that I did have, that was a zoom lens, it didn't have a large enough aperture to handle the room very well. So I had to do a lot of color grading in post, which is something that I didn't want to do on the fly. So Eat More Possum has chiggers. I hate chiggers. We had, back when I worked at MAPCO, behind our office, there was this little patch of woods, and there were these little kittens that were back there. And one of the girls from MAPCO went back there to rescue the kittens, and she was going to take and get them homes or something like that. And she ended up getting chiggers everywhere. Like, she just showed us her back, and it's just one big rash, it looked like. But yeah, I hate chiggers. I've never really had a bout with chiggers, I don't think. At least not as bad as she had them. I would assume chiggers are always like that, but maybe not. Maybe they're here and there, and I might have chiggers on me. I don't know. Bob Casey says you don't use GoPro or action cameras. So, okay. So I took the Canon C100, and the reason I usually use camcorders, Bob, is because for one, they don't overheat. Two, they record for hours. And number three, the battery lasts forever. So camcorder, when it comes to video, and it comes to a lot of video, camcorders are still number one. Action cameras are great. I took the GoPro Hero 9 and I took the GoPro Hero 8. And I even took the DJI Pocket 2 with me, that I bought from Eat More Possum, or I traded for it. And I went to go use that one day, and when I had it with me, I didn't have an SD card with any memory on it. So I was like, crap. And the only reason I pulled the DJI Pocket 2 out was because my GoPro overheated. So the GoPro Hero 9, for those of you that don't know, has a metal body. It is very sturdy, very strong, and very heavy. But I got some amazing footage from it because at 1080p, it can record 240 frames per second. So I was able to get some really cool slow-mo out of it. And I put it on the end of my GoPro Fusion kind of selfie stick, and I held it with two hands, kind of like a gun. So the camera was flipped up like this, and then I held it with two hands, and I got some super steady shots out of that. And the reason I did bring my GoPros was because it was supposed to rain all week. So the GoPros were really my backup. And I always use GoPros when we go to the lake because they're waterproof. But for an AGL says, action cameras are great for short recordings and short shots. If you want to mount a camera and let it run, Osmo Action gets really hot like GoPros. Yeah, whenever you cram So 4K in general takes a lot of processing, but when you cram 4K 60 frames per second or even 4K 120 frames per second into a tiny compact package that doesn't have any room to breathe, it's going to overheat. And what's nice about GoPros is they're waterproof. So if you use it in the ocean or you use it in the pool or at the water park or something like that, it's always getting cold water splashed on it and it's fine. Like when I took it out to the lake at camp, it ran great. No overheating. But when it was 100 degrees in Alabama, and I was pushing it to the limits. Like I had it recording 1080, 240 frames per second. If I would have done like 1080 at 60 frames per second, then, and even 120 frames per second, it probably wouldn't have overheated when it did. But what I was doing was I was capturing 240 frames per second. That's a lot of processing power. The camera's waterproof without a frame. So back in the day, GoPros used to be plastic and they weren't waterproof and they didn't even have screens on them. So all they had to do was record. But the GoPro Hero 9 has 2 screens on it that generate heat because a lot of electricity is going through them, and recording 4K 240 frames per second in an enclosure that, for one, is cramped. Like there's no room for air to move around in there, and it's waterproof. So there's no holes in it for the camera to breathe. So there's a lot going on with that action camera. But when it works, it's amazing. Like ridiculous stabilization, ridiculous like dynamic range. It's got strong blacks, it's got strong whites, I think GoPros are amazing when they work. When they overheat, it's frustrating, and then at times they'll crash, and the only way to get them out of the funk that they're in is to pull the battery out and put the battery back in, and then it'll kind of reset itself. But when you're at the lake and you get water all over it, you're really not supposed to open that battery door until like an hour after you've gotten out of the water. So if there's any little water drops, they don't get in there. So anyway, that's a really long answer for you, Bob. So Bob said he's not going to record anything long. The reason I love the camcorders is not necessarily for everyday life, and not even my YouTube channel. Even though I am very long-winded as a YouTuber, I'm not short and to the point. I will ramble it'll take me a half hour to make a YouTube video, like to record it, and then I trim that down to like 15 minutes. So there are a lot of cameras that take really good footage that only record for 5 minutes. Like the one that I'm talking to you now, this is the Canon G7X. It's a compact camera, and the reason I got it is so that I can record a 4K video anywhere I want to, and just stick this thing in my pocket. I've decided to use it as my camera here, but it's just, I think like camera manufacturers are starting to build things and market them to do things that they're really not supposed to do. Like they'll push the limits. It'll say it's a 4K camera, 60 frames per second, and then there'll be a little asterisk, and then you'll read down at the bottom, 4K run times will only be 5 minutes. Can only record 4K for 5 minutes, and then it will shut down. And then there's other cameras where you would, there are options to turn the fans off, Well, that's wonderful that you're able to turn the fans off, but it's horrible because they put those fans in there to keep the camera from overheating. I'm in Nashville, so we get like anywhere from 90 to 110 degrees, and it's humid outside. It's it's gonna really hurt that camera. It's gonna overheat that camera, and there's a chance it'll mess up your SD card, or files will get corrupt. Like there's things on my iPhone that like when my iPhone overheats, it says I'm going to shut down so we don't screw anything up, pretty much. So Mel says Osmo Action 2 screens, waterproof to 30 meters or something, awesome dynamic range and stabilized. Yep. There's a video on my channel where I tested out I believe it was the Insta360 1R, the DJI Osmo Action, and GoPro Hero something. It was either the 8 or the 9. And I put them all on my handlebars and showed you guys the difference between the stabilization on all three of those cameras. Osmo Action is a great camera. So yeah. Bob Casey says his Osmo Action ran for about an hour, which is great. That's wonderful. BMAC's in the house. What's up, BMAC? Welcome to the chat. We're talking about, I just came from camp where I was a videographer at a youth camp all week. And so I'm just kind of talking about what was good and what was bad about the choices that I made. So everybody's saying hi to each other in the chat. Mel can't afford GoPros. So Bob Casey said his Air 2S has been acting silly the last few flights. So what's going on with your Mavic Air 2S? So BMAC is editing and publishing some Insta360 One X2 as we speak. That's awesome. I love 360 cameras. I love my Insta360 One X2. I took it to camp. I ended up using my GoPro Max at camp. And I loved it. The only thing is, like, when I had so little time to edit things, put all of my GoPro files in the render queue and let them run overnight. And then by the time I got back, all the files were done. But I only took like 500 gigs worth of storage on the Ninja V hard drive, like a SSD. And then my MacBook Pro only has 256 gigs. And then, so the one day of 360 video that I did with the GoPro Max probably took up 400 gigs of that. So I was scrambling around using SD cards and different types of things just to move some storage around so I could finish the week. But very, very cool. Bob Casey says the last update on the Fly app has done something to it. It drifts a bit. Plus, the obstacle avoidance has been off and on. That's not good. DJI Fly app, are you using Android or iOS? So Mel says, wish I had a decent 360 camera. My Vivitar 360 is not a great 360 camera. So Mel, the Insta360 One X is the exact same camera as the One X2. Okay, as far as the optics, they've added a little bit to the software side or the firmware side of the One X2, but the only difference between the One X and the One X2 is the One X2 is waterproof. So if you can find a Insta360 One X on eBay, it's a wonderful camera, and it's about 3 years old now. So there's a good chance you can find one that's pretty good. Bob Casey says, I thought it was a nice little 360 for the price. So BMAC has rolled things back. I hate it whenever they come out with you would think firmware updates would be an improvement. Like, I'm in software development. I'm on the design side of software development, but I'm in meetings with software developers all the time. And it amazes me the things that get rolled out that have to be pulled back because they weren't tested properly. You would think that DJI, the industry leader in drone manufacturers, would test their stuff before they push it out. And the other thing that's frustrating with the way we do things now is companies push out products. They sell products that aren't even finished yet, right? And they think they're going to have enough time to update the firmware before it actually, people actually get it in their hands, and then that doesn't happen, and then things come up, and so you might not have the full functionality of the product that you just bought until 6 months later. I get frustrated with those type of things. So Bob Casey says he's using the iOS. Interesting. I don't know what version I'm running right now, but I haven't flown in a couple weeks. So VMAX says that the issues are with Android and the iOS. So that's frustrating. So it's not hardware specific. So that sucks. I really hate that. I am usually an early adopter because I run a YouTube channel and I try to get things right when they come out so I can tell you guys about it, or at least I used to. And I've never had much bite me in the butt. But every once in a while there'll be something. Bob Casey says, I'm not a fruity kind of guy, but I love Apple devices. I love Apple too. I have everything. That was a bold statement. So I'm the kind of person that I like to have one of each. So I have, like, right now I'm on, a PC that I built to kind of edit 8K video in DaVinci Resolve. But I also have a Windows Surface laptop that I can take with me on the go. Now I have a iMac and I have a MacBook Pro. I have an Android phone and I have an iPhone. I have an Android tablet and I have a iPad. So I like to have all of the different flavors just so I can keep up with what's going on.
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Alexa, stop. I don't know why Alexa just starts talking to me. So 1R, okay. So the Insta360 One X the optics in that camera, the lens, the sensor, how it processes the 360 video is exactly the same as the 1R and the 1X2. So they came out with the Insta360 1X. Then they came out with the 1R, which was pretty much the same thing, but it was a modular version, which for you, that might be something that you enjoy even more. It's very modular. It's shaped more like a GoPro. Actually, this is it. The 1R is the camera that I used on my Inspire to shoot 360 video. It might be 2 videos ago that aren't live streams on my channel. But this is the camera that I used, and what's cool about it is it's a 360 camera. See if I can take it apart. Yep. So the Insta360 1R, it's made up of different pieces. So this red part down here is the battery. This is the lens portion, and this is the brain portion. So pull the battery off, and then you can pull the brain and the lens apart. And they've got all these different like configurations where they plug into each other. But what's cool about it is you can build different cameras. So there's the 1R has there's a 4K version, which is just a GoPro lens. There's the 360 version that has a lens on both sides, and there's a 5K version that has a 1-inch sensor on it. So it's a wonderful. So it's like a GoPro with beautiful optics. So what's cool about but just to tell you that the optics, this part right here is exactly the same as the 1X. So all I'm really telling you, Mel, is the older the camera, the cheaper you can find it used. And if you don't care about the waterproof part, you're going to get an amazing camera if you get the 1X. So that's really what I was getting at. I think the 1R is wonderful, and I think the 1X2 is wonderful. 1X2 is a lot like a GoPro. In recent years, since the 5, like GoPros have been waterproof without a case around it. And that's what the 1X2 is. But there are dive cases for all of the other Insta360 cameras. And if I was going to buy an Insta360 camera nowadays, I would definitely get an Insta360 camera. Insta360, in my opinion, has the best software. And renders the best. The GoPro Max is wonderful too. The GoPro Fusion was hard to work with, but the GoPro Max is a wonderful camera, and you could probably get a GoPro Max pretty cheap too. But that is my professional recommendation. So BMAX says the problem, I believe, is the Fly app is being spread too thin. It's supporting 5 different drones right now. Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I get frustrated with, Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, BMAC's in the house. Y'all want to talk to BMAC? Well, it doesn't matter what you think. I'm going to bring him in anyway.
Hey, Sean.
What's up, BMAC? How's it going?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, I'll pay money if you can get Bob Casey in here.
Oh yeah?
I think he's been on like a live stream maybe once or twice in the couple of years that I've known him. But
Yeah.
no, I'm just sitting here, just listening to all this good stuff because you mentioned about not flying in a while. The weather here has been so bad. I have not flown my drone in a month.
Oh really?
Rain, heat, mostly the heat. But I'm unboxing right now a brand new toy for my drone. I hope the battery's charged on this. Probably not. I probably can't see that too well.
Is that little flashing light?
Yeah. Now here's the trick about this one. It's a red, green, blue. But see,
Okay.
can you
It looks
see
like
the
a
top of that?
dome. Looks like
You
a
can
dome.
actually see this from a distance with the top of your drone because that light is going to reflect off those a triangular wall.
That's cool.
Yeah, this is from Lucorb.
So does that meet the
it's-
FAA?
It is
Distance
FAA
requirement?
approved, or it's a 3-mile strobe.
Wow.
Of course, I haven't tested it out yet. I'm just now opening it up. Let's see. Where does it turn on?
Bob Casey says, "How much you paying?"
There we go.
But Bob, I think he said he'd pay me if I could get you on here.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
we're not paying Bob. Okay, so. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. I want to get this on the drone. I'm looking at it from the side. That will blind you. Whoa.
yeah. I've seen a lot of really cool, like long exposure photography where people will kind of point their camera in one direction and then they'll fly their drone around with the LEDs. With that strobe, it'll put like dotted lines throughout the sky.
Well, what I'm noticing now about this thing, what's even cooler, is front is white, left is red, right is green. So I could tell the orientation of my drone now at distance at night or in the dark.
Oh, that's cool.
Very cool, yeah. So if I ever get a chance to put it up.
Yeah. Well, Brian, tell me about yourself.
Let's see. I'm in Houston,
Okay.
where it's incredibly hot and humid. Excuse me. Let me do this real quick.
Y'all had some really bad storms a while back, didn't you?
It was storming just a few minutes ago. It's been storming every day for like the last month.
Yeah, but didn't you have like tornadoes or?
Not so much here in Houston. North
okay.
of here, it got pretty bad.
Okay.
Hey, eat more possum. Haven't seen it in a while. I think I had him in my stream once. But no, I'm here in Houston and I love to fly drones. I'm retired mostly. I'm 107 certified. Every now and again, I'll make a buck off of it, but I don't actively seek work.
Yeah.
It just kind of comes to me, which I'm thankful for. Ever since I retired about 3 years ago, and it takes a long time to get used to that mindset. And now I'm so used to it, it's like, no, I really don't want to be on your schedule to do what you want me to do.
Right.
So, but other than that, I've got tons of hobbies. I mean, there's a train layout over my shoulder there. Been doing that for 30 years. There we go. Lost my screen. I build PCs for fun and for a living, or sometimes for a living. I've sold a few of those.
Okay.
What else do I do? Video editing, lots of video editing. I've been really getting into the video editing side. I've used all kinds of programs over the years, and I'm trying to teach myself DaVinci Resolve. And when I say myself, I use a lot of YouTube stuff and YouTube friends that I've met over the time, Jim Boyd and Matt Northeast, to name a few. But other than that, man, I just living here with my wife and 2 dogs. And we did have 1 cat a couple months ago. Now we got like 6. You want a cat?
I got a cat, and my kid's friend is about to have kittens, and he's begging me to bring a kitten in. But every time I brought a kitten in, it's messed up the cat that the cat that we have gets jealous. And
oh yeah, but we had the 1 cat that we have. We've had her for 6 years, and I said, man, Chessie is just not going to like this. It took her 2 or 3 months. She's finally coming around. But I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah. So you said you were editing some 360 footage from the Insta360.
Yeah. I do I got the YouTube channel thing going on. I've not many subscribers, like 600, whatever. But some of the content I do, I have a series called Old Guy Walk and Talk, and it's just me and another guy who I've worked with for years. We both retired, and we both have our morning walk, and it gets pretty lively sometimes, and I'll record it. But no, I had the Insta360 out this morning because I wanted to see if it was usable for that format, because the audio on it is garbage. I mean, it's just, if you're trying to use just that audio, you're really not going to go too far with it. So I played around with that, brought the audio up in a couple places, and said, it's okay, but I'm going to have to find a solution for that. I know it has an adapter. I'll probably get that and see how it goes from there. But yeah, I mean, I would just, the guy that there's another guy now just started walking with us, and he's actually the oldest guy, because I'm 60, my buddy Fred is 61. He's 73, so he's got us both beat. And he's man, is that dude fast. It's everything I can do to keep up with him.
Yeah.
But he just got a drone. His wife, because
wow.
She knows about us, and she just surprised him for his birthday with a drone. And I said, Ernie, you going to bring it to the park maybe so we can see what it is? He goes, I don't know. So I don't know.
I
want to show him the Insta360, in that it's not a typical video camera. When you take a picture 360, you can edit it 20 different ways to get a different view each time. Yep. And all I did was, it's a minute-long video. I just published it, but it's just an 18-second hyperlapse done I rolled it 3 times, showing 3 different viewing angles. Mm-hmm. So
that's awesome.
Just did it for him, so he kind of gets an idea what I'm talking about. Because until I got one, it's pretty hard to wrap your head around how those cameras work.
Mm-hmm. I've been doing it for years, so it's when you get so comfortable doing something, sometimes it's hard to teach people that are brand new to it. I still try to, I try to think about when I make a video, when I'm trying to tell somebody how to do something, if I didn't know anything about it, what would I want to know? But yeah, I was trying to explain it when I was at camp this week. I put the GoPro Max on, a really tall light stand, and it was kind of my second cameraman. Like, I'd sit it somewhere, and then I'd go video the kids somewhere else, and then I'd come back and grab it, and I'd put it at another event, and then I'd go do something else. But I wish every camera did that. I wish you didn't have to buy a special 360 camera and special software. I wish you wouldn't have to hang it off of a drone. I wish it would already have that capability on the drone.
The thing about it is, too, I can see so much room over the coming years for improvement, and the versatility of these cameras is going to be amazing,
Yeah.
I think.
The thing that I don't like is, you know, when we started out with 360 video, it was like 6 GoPros all in like a custom rig, and then there was a lot of stitching. Those videos turned out a lot better than the type of videos we have now, because we only have 2 lenses, and then every once in a while the stitch is messed up in a dive case, or it uses optical flow and it wobbles in the corners and stuff like that. I would almost like to see like 3 or 4 cameras with like twice as much overlap than the ones that we have now. And then like my Insta360 Pro that has 6 cameras, it's perfect because there's so much overlap with all those 6 lenses as opposed to just 2 lenses on opposite side. So you still have to be kind of mindful to point, point each lens at whatever your most important subject is.
Right.
But, because every once in a while it'll like put a line through somebody or something. But I mean, the Insta360, you said you got the 1X2?
Yeah. I'm going to get the Insta Go, the little one.
Yeah.
I just have one desire, because I already tried it with this and it's kind of shaky. I don't want to break it. I want to put it in the bottom of my drone. And I've already seen it done a few times. But one of my favorite places to fly is downtown Houston in the daytime. But that golden twilight hour is perfect. I just want to run it down the street with that Insta and then just take in all the sights both ways, going down the street.
Yeah.
With the skyscrapers on each side. I think that would be cool as all get out.
Yeah. Now the Go is only 180.
Is it only 180?
It's only, yeah.
Well,
It's meant to like hang on yourself. Like it's meant to like put on your dog, or it's what the thing is, it's so tiny. That's the point of the Go 2.
Okay, so we're back to this.
Yep.
This will work. I just need to find the right. I've got a clamp for the drone, but I need to find something that I'm not comfortable but confident in.
Okay.
I don't like some of the stuff I've seen out there yet. Or doing what I want to do with it.
So I've got. Is this it? This isn't it. I don't know where it's at right now, but it's a lot like this.
Yeah.
This is the one for the Air 2 that I bought, and it straps completely around it, so it's gonna it clamps into the battery, the 2 battery buttons, and
So
then
you're on the top there, aren't you?
This one's on the top, but I have another one, and maybe I'll review it on my channel this week and be able to send it to you. But it's like it has 2 bolts, like 2 GoPro thumb screws on each side, and it clamps around the drone, so it's not going to fall off. But the only thing that I would caution you with is my Insta360 1X. No, my Insta360 1 fell off of my drone and did like 100-foot dive bomb. Like it went through the sod into the dirt, and I pulled it out.
And that's what I'm saying. I have yet to come across that, because I want to drop it I'm going to hang it from the bottom. So I got to be careful of my takeoff and my landing in the situation I'm talking about. But the reason being, I want it to kind of free float. If it's attached to the top, it's going to be kind of, I don't want to use the word rigid, but it's not the look that I'm going for. I don't want the look anywhere in the shot of the drone being anywhere in the base. Whereas if you hang it from the bottom by a foot, you can edit out anything to do with the drone carefully.
Okay. So I also want to caution you about the
this.
I'll get to that in a minute.
That's what I'm worried about.
I've got probably like maybe 30 videos on 360 cameras strapped to a drone. So I've made all the mistakes. The pendulum is a big issue. The pendulum, the farther you put your camera from the drone, the more it's going to
It's gonna
swing,
swing.
and it's exponential. It'll overcompensate and push itself into it. It's not that bad when you move.
Yeah.
When you start
When
going
you-
forward, the drone,
The momentum will
takes
will stabilize it.
it
It's just when you
stabilizes.
stop and you're dealing with a wind maybe too. That's going to be an issue.
Yep. The other issue is the reason my 360 camera fell off of my drone is because it unscrewed itself. So your drone's up there vibrating, and all a screw is a circular ramp, and it was just kind of spinning around. So like rubber washers or silicone washers are a must have.
And that's what I'm saying when I say I'm not confident in the stuff I've seen out there. That's the main reason, because when I used to work on helicopters in the service, and because of the vibration, we had to what they call safety bolt, the important bolts that held that thing together, rotor, various parts on the bird. Just because of the vibration, they would work themselves loose.
Yep.
Anything will, especially when that kind of, the speed of those motors is, you think, oh, there's no vibration. It's so minute, you're never going to notice it. And I don't want, there goes $500 right down the street. Oh man, that thing is a million pieces.
Right. Yeah. All of my training videos are usually over a soccer field or a baseball field. So.
Yep. And that's what I'm going to do first.
Yep. I would definitely do some testing over some soft ground before you took it over a street or something. But the issue that I have with it kind of free swinging, like, are you talking about like on a fishing line or a string or something?
No, I was thinking more of a
Or a cable,
because
like
the problem with
metal
any kind of fishing line, you're looking at all kind of issues that could go wrong where, next thing you know, the 360's on top of it, the line's wrapped around the rotor, everything's coming down, there's all kind of horror stories I could think of. I'm looking at some sort of a cable, like a rigid cable. Mm-hmm. And the problem there, now you're adding weight. You're adding a lot more weight. So, like I said, I'm still in search of.
I want to show you something. I want to find it.
And by the way, Bob Casey, on that dog thing, because my wife has got all these cats. She's a cat lady, and we had a golden retriever 20 years. I'm getting another one. Hopefully this week.
All right. So I'm going to play this video. I'm going to leave the audio off. All right. And right now it's an ad, so I'm making money. So this is a video I did maybe a month or two ago. And it's this camera right here. So it's the Insta360 1R. And then I made like a vibration mount to go.
I think I've seen this.
Yeah. I Frankensteined about 10 different 360 or 3D printed files off of Thingiverse to make this mount. But basically, so the Inspire is a huge drone, right?
Oh, yeah. It can handle a bunch of weight too.
Yep. So this is what that camera did. And I was able, like, without editing out the drone, I was able to get some pretty good tiny planets.
Yep.
But with a little bit of Final Cut magic, this is the 360 version where I edited out the drone. So basically what I did was, from the ground, I took a picture. And so what that did was it gave me the sky.
Yeah.
And so the sun's in the right place. You know, everything, these clouds, I kind of faded them into the footage. Am I paused? No, I'm just not moving much. So why isn't it going? Oh, it's in 5K. That's why. Let me back that out. It's not going to look that good now.
Yeah, I've got a good computer, and mine still hiccups when I try to do 4K.
Well, yeah, and I'm streaming at the same time. I'm streaming in 1080
There
and
you
playing
go.
it like
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot right now. But let me up that to 1440 just so. But so if I would lean more, like since I've done this a lot, I would lean more on safety and getting your drone and your camera back to you in one piece. And then you know, you talked about how you were doing a lot of you know, video editing. I can figure out how to do this in DaVinci Resolve and show you in the next week or two. But do you have a Mac or a PC?
PC.
You're a PC guy. So we'll have to figure out how to do it in DaVinci for you. But basically what it is you know, you've got your video file, and then on top of it, I laid my photo, stretched my photo all the way across the whole thing, and then lined them up so that what's great is this sun. It's the easiest thing to use as a reference point.
As a
So
marker.
all you got to do is put the sun of your picture on top of the sun of your video, and then you use kind of a blurry mask. So you it's kind of like a crop, but at the very middle, you just kind of blur it. So it fades from 100% opacity to nothing.
Can't tell the difference.
Yeah, I mean, once it's moving, and like I used to try so hard to get the entire video to work, and then I realized that because I thought the clouds were going to move. Like if I did it with a picture, the clouds were going to be in a weird spot, or like you can't really do this if you fly by things. So if you're flying between buildings and stuff, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And the reason I started the video in the air is because liftoff does not work either, because you're under the tree line. But once you're past the tree line and the only thing left is sky in half of your video, replacing it with a picture is fine. And unless you tell somebody what you did, nobody's going to know.
Yep.
They're going to spend all their time looking at the ground. They're going to glance at the sun, glance at the sky every once in a while. And I've watched this video in my VR headset, and it's awesome. Like, and I know what I did. I know it's a fake sky. Well,
You'd never know though by looking at this. This is pretty amazing.
yeah, and it's the actual sky of that day,
Taken
like
from a picture. Yep.
The tutorial that I watched from Hugh, the creator up. He's like an Asian guy that does 360 videos.
Yep.
His tutorial was to find stock art of a beautiful sky and then swap it out. But this was the process I came up with, where like I wanted my experience, my 360 experience, to be as real as possible. I wanted it, you know, I can easily fake things. I'm a graphic designer. I know how to fake things, but I wanted it to be as real as possible. And it's a little bit of a struggle in Nashville because we've got, like, this is very flat for Nashville. Okay. But we still have like all these hills off in the distance. And
Yep.
is Houston pretty flat?
Very.
So you'll have no problem.
No.
I lived in Dallas for a little bit, so I know Dallas is pretty flat. But
Dallas is hilly compared to Houston.
okay, so you might have to get up 50 feet in the air, and all of a sudden you'll be over all the trees.
Oh no, our tree. That's the only thing. Our trees here go to like 80 and 90 feet. I set everything to 100 to 125. Just
Okay.
so I clear these trees.
But yeah, once you're up there, then it'll be fine.
Yep.
Um,
What I'm wondering though. Okay, we were having a discussion last week. Jim Boyd was showing some blown out video that he gotten his hands on, and he was playing with it in DaVinci, and it showed in the scope the flat part where there was just no data, anything above that. And I kept saying to him, I said, Jim, there's got to be some sort of an overlay or a way to replace that data with something artificial. Be it this would be it. This would be the way to do it.
mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
still don't know how you did it, but I need to watch that video. It's amazing.
Now let me see if
Because I'm familiar with like Luminar and Photoshop, Lightroom, and I know how you can blend the horizons. But on that shot that you were showing, like I said, you've got hills, you've got variances in the sky, in the blue of the sky,
mm-hmm.
that look very natural because it's from that day. So yeah, that was pretty amazing.
This is from 2018, so I have no idea what this video is about. I don't remember, but this might give you kind of an idea. This is my Unique Typhoon H, and I think so. This is the Garmin Verb 360. So I turned the audio off, but this is kind of my process. This is what the 360 video looks like with my landing gear and everything. Oh, there's an ad. Well, it's okay. I'm making some money. We'll just let this play for a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So this is a Final Cut Pro workflow, but there's probably some very similar workflow in DaVinci. I just haven't tried it yet.
Right.
But DaVinci works a lot. DaVinci is probably the closest thing to Final Cut Pro. Like even the timeline in DaVinci looks like this, and this was from 2018. So let's see. The other nice thing about my Unique Typhoon H is the landing gear goes up, but with the Insta360, with the DJI Air 2S, it's such a flat drone that not really going to have to worry about a landing gear that much.
No, not at all. That's what I'm saying. And that's when I say a cable too. I've got to either hand catch this thing or be able to just set the camera down and then back the drone up very slowly and land it, which it'd be just easier just to do a hand catch.
Well, what's nice about a hand catch with with the 360 camera on the bottom.
What you're doing here.
Yeah, so you see how I'm moving the mask down?
Yep.
And the sun is a great reference point. Like it's just a big white dot right in the middle. Like it's like when you're in, printing something and you've got your I forgot the name of it. But I don't know what I'm talking about here. Oh, okay. So this is me editing the photo in Photoshop. This was before I ever took a picture. Like after I made this video, that was when I realized, oh, I just need to take a picture from the ground. But this was me teaching people how to use Photoshop to completely remove the drone
from the shot.
Yeah, so I'm using Photoshop right here, and I'm using the eraser tool. And if you can see up in the top corner, I've got the eraser at 1400 pixels round, and it's not sharp. It's very
Blunt.
Fuzzy. What is it called? Yeah.
Blunt.
Yeah, you got me. So and I've got the layer at 75% opacity. And that was just with the blue gradient. So
That's
I picked,
amazing.
so my gradient, I picked the darkest blue in the top of the sky and the light blue from the bottom, made my gradient out of that. And then maybe I'm adding a sun back now. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing. I used to go a little overboard. Yep, I'm actually drawing a sun is what I'm doing. But this is probably more of a Photoshop tutorial than like now. If you just take a picture, like I would encourage you to take a picture before you take off and take a picture after you land, and then find which one matches your scene the best. Because sometimes, like,
Things
I
will
try to-
change and shift.
yeah, I try to pick days that are not cloudy, not like, I love puffy clouds. And with my Paradenofi that can point up, I'll actually take 360 photos with my Paradenofi. That's my best 360 like sphere mode drone because it can point up and it can get the entire sphere. But for video, you can't do that with the Paradenofi. You can't point the camera in every direction all the time. So this was my fake sky that I drew in this video. But yeah.
Still, that's just, this is really starting to get me to thinking now.
Yeah, you really just need to remove the illusion of the drone. Like you need to make the illusion that I said that wrong, but make the illusion that the drone was never there.
Well, there's other applications that I'm thinking of too. Is the skies here for the next 5 or 6 months? There's no such thing as a blue sky. It's either going to have clouds, slate gray, or dark clouds.
Yeah.
There's no blue sky until like November. So those kind of harsh skies are really hard to edit. You know, they're throwing so much harsh light down.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you pan down, and I never shoot an auto, but you're still panning down, you're still either getting lens flare or all this other stuff. And I'm just trying to think, there's a way to eliminate this stuff here. I can see it. I just got to wrap my head around it.
Yep.
In other words, to soften the sky to where it's not throwing out all that glare.
Yeah. So I wish all of my cameras weren't packed up from camp, but so what was nice about my Insta360 1R underneath my Inspire was that the drone shaded the camera the entire time.
That would, yeah.
So-
See, that would be that's going to cut the glare right there.
Yep. And so the something that I've done in the past is instead of hanging my camera down, I actually one of my viewers said, well, and this was back when I was using the I did some stupid things, but I put are you familiar with the Xiaomi Mi Sphere? It kind of looks like a Klondike bar. It's like a real flat, like almost like credit card shape with these big kind of bulbous lenses on each side. But I put that on a DJI Spark. And like it was about the same size as the Spark and the camera were about the same size. And I flew it around for a little bit, but it was kind of stupid. It bounced around like crazy. But one of my viewers, so I had the lens pointed forward because I always was with 360 cameras. I always wanted the lens to point at the subject. But then when I realized that I'm taking 360 aerial footage, like nothing is the subject really.
Right.
Like everything is the subject. So
Or,
then
whatever you want to make it as a subject.
So one of my viewers said, what if you turned it sideways so it acted like a shark fin? So as you're flying through the sky, it wasn't a parachute, but it was actually like a rudder. Okay, you get me?
Yep.
So if you did the same thing with your Insta360 1X2, instead of hanging it down really far, if you just made it so that it was flat as kind of like a rudder underneath your Air 2S. The only problem is the sensor right in the middle of your Air 2S.
I'm not worried about that.
You don't
Unless
want
it
to
gives
cover
me too many warnings about it being blocked. Just shut them off then.
Yeah, you can shut this if you're comfortable shutting the sensors off. Then you can put that camera anywhere you want to underneath. My caution above the drone would be just covering up your GPS signal. You don't want to cover up your GPS on your drone.
Right.
Been there, done that. Made mistakes.
Well, I'm saying I've always wondered about that. Whenever I see people flying under like a large tunnel or a bridge, I said, I was thinking if you fly close enough, you're going to lose GPS signal. But I guess just not long enough to make a difference because you're still in ADI mode at some point. You just probably wouldn't even notice it.
Yeah, I watched a guy. He took his Mavic Pro, the original Pro, and he flew it under a bridge, and it was fine. But he flew it into a tunnel, it was like a big pipe, and then it really messed up, and it went into ADI mode, and all of a sudden, once it goes into ADI mode, it starts drifting, and like it has nothing to keep it in its spot.
I mean, you're going to hit something.
Yeah. I don't ever want to hit anything with my drone. So, now this one is the Garmin. I was pretty happy with this video back in 2018. I'm not as happy with it now because there's a lot of wobble. Like the Garmin 360 was very stable at the time, but not even close to the stabilization that your 1X2 has.
Yeah, that was another thing too. I was very impressed with today. I did, like I said, it was an 18-second time lapse, and I've done those many times. And one thing I've learned is you got to have it steady to make a decent time lapse. That thing was just, I said, man, you can actually see stuff. This works.
Oh, it's brilliant. The stabilization, it's one thing to have. The reason why it's so stable is the metadata that it's grabbing while it's taking the video. And so even like the camera can do some stabilization, but once you throw it into Insta360 Studio and it has that metadata, like it knows where every frame is supposed to be.
And that's what I was thinking. It's got to be something to do along those lines that was making the picture. Because, I had that thing using the selfie stick with it draped across my shoulder behind me this way for most of the walk. So it's just bouncing along. Yep. This is probably going to look like garbage. It looks great. I was so impressed.
Yeah. Oh, before my live stream is over, I wanted to tell you you asked about an audio solution.
Yes.
So I don't have it. I don't have this actual. I don't have the Rode Wireless Go 2, but I think that would be perfect for you.
Yeah, I've considered that too. The only problem that I have with an external mic of any sort doing these types of videos is it takes forever to do the syncing, depending on the software. I'll throw it out because I integrate drone video with it. I'll pitch the drone towards us as we're walking or away from us. And there's vocabulary the whole time. We're bullshitting back and forth and talking. But every now and again, the camera's going to have to be on our faces with our lips moving, and it needs to look like we're speaking English.
Yep. So
and that's where it can be a little bit weird. Yeah, I know. I'm real familiar with Rode. I'm probably going to break down and get one.
Yeah. So this is the second version that comes with 2. So I thought of this with your kind of 2 guys talking. Basically the receiver goes into the camera, and then you each get a Wireless Go on you, and both of those feeds go right into your camera, so you don't have to sync the video with the camera.
Right. Yeah.
And
Or at least
that
not what I'm using.
and that's the only important thing that is, the close up on your faces, right? Or are you using another camera too?
It can be up to 3 cameras, depending on how adventurous I get with these things. It gets weird, man. Because I'll do them on different days, and I'll tell my buddy, "Okay, Fred, we wore blue shirts yesterday. We got to wear blue shirts again tomorrow."
Okay.
Because it has to be seamless. And go, "Oh man."
Yeah. The other thing, I haven't done much syncing in DaVinci, but Final Cut Pro, if you clap 3 times,
Yeah, this is what I do now.
it's
I learned
really
that.
easy to find your spikes.
Yeah.
But Final Cut Pro does an amazing job syncing audio and video clips. You just select all the clips and then you say sync, and then it'll go through and analyze your footage. So I'd be surprised if DaVinci didn't have something like that too.
Well, like I said, right now
I've tried.
I'm learning DaVinci. My go-to editing software has been Filmora, and they have been improving the crap out of that. If they keep it up, there's almost zero incentive for me to keep going down on DaVinci Road, because they actually have a noise or audio sync now with Filmora, which I have yet to try out. So I might give that a shot here pretty soon.
Yeah.
It just depends.
Yeah. What I do is I usually get my bass track, like the main timeline is the best audio clip, and then everything else I will stack on top of each other.
Yep.
So I'll have one video running the entire time, but if I want to put B-roll, I'll just put that little clip on a separate video channel on top of it.
And that's how I do those videos. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
what I'll do is it makes it look like I'm cutting away from us and I'm switching over to drone footage, either showing us or showing some of the part that we're in walking. It just depends.
Yeah. So I have a question from Mel. He asks, how do you combine 360 and standard video in one timeline? So Mel, what is your final product? Is it going to be a 360 video, or is it going to be a standard video? If it's a standard video, it is very easy if your software allows you to, I don't know, I'm not sure about the Vivitar software, but I do know Insta360 Studio allows you to pull in 360 degree clips. Also GoPro Viewer. Okay, so Mel said both. So let me pull that up.
I'm surprised Mel hasn't come in here.
Mel
Oh,
comes
your
in.
camera broke?
He comes in every once in a while.
Yeah.
Mel came on a couple weeks ago and we were talking about his new laser cutter. He was laser cutting some wood, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Those things are interesting. I know that.
So Premiere Pro is the editor. So Mel, I'm going to show you this. This is GoPro's website. If you go to apps, there's an app called GoPro Player. And what GoPro Player will let you do is it will let you pull in any 360 clip. And then you can edit that 360 clip as, what is it called? Well, you can set your timeline as like 1080 or 4K standard video. And then you can set keyframes to move throughout your 360 footage and export like a 4K flat file as opposed to an equirectangular file. So I would use that to get your clips. And then in Premiere, I would edit in a normal timeline. On the other hand, if you're editing 360 video, once you pull your 360 degree video in to Premiere, you can add your regular video on top. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have a bed of 360-degree video and then just bring your footage on top. I think I have an example of that. Who knows what video it's on?
How long have you been doing YouTube, Sean?
I just passed 4 years.
Wow.
Well, four years where I was intentional. I've been on YouTube for maybe 6 or 7 years, but just had like videos of my kids being born, and like it was more of like a media server for my
Right.
Facebook and MySpace.
Yeah, no, I really, when I started getting into drones, I said, well, what am I going to do with all this cool video I'm taking? Well, let me put it up on YouTube. That way I can at least shout out to some of my friends. I never even gave it a thought to starting a channel.
Yeah.
I never took it seriously for at least the first year of having a drone.
Oh, sorry. I just want to show you this real quick. This is the idiocy of my first years on YouTube.
I've seen a lot of good idiocies for people first starting out.
So look at that camera on that Spark.
That is cool though, man.
I mean, it's cool. This is the video where I was like, and look, it's connected with a zip tie. You see that?
Yeah.
Like, this was stupid.
That's probably.
But
not
I was happy at the time. But so much could have gone wrong. But that little Spark was my favorite little drone. If that thing would have shot 4K,
my starter.
I loved how rugged it was. I bounced that thing off of so many things. But look at this. I mean, it worked.
I guarantee you got some views out of that too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, anytime I did something stupid, that's the videos people wanted to watch, not when I was actually making something that would work for somebody. But look, see it wobbling around? I mean, it's pretty stable, but
let it play for a second, because I thought, yeah, the tree's moving, so you've got wind there too. That's like putting a sail on that thing.
yeah. Yeah, any gust of wind would just flip it around. This was kind of when 360 cameras started taking off.
That's actually pretty cool, though. It looks pretty sturdy.
Yeah.
Stable.
Yep. I think I forget what the battery life the Spark had, but this kind of cut it in half.
Minutes. They advertised 15, 16, and it was 9 or 10 usually.
Yeah.
But with that weight on it, I'll bet you were getting about 5.
Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely struggling a little bit. And that was before I even thought I could burn motors or anything. I never burned out a motor, but look at it. Just kind of, when the higher it goes, the more wind there is, and it's just kind of bouncing around. Now, I don't remember if I sped this footage up or not, but it kind of looks like I sped it up a little bit.
Maybe a little bit, but not much, because the clouds aren't moving.
Yep.
Well, they're moving, but real slow.
Yep. So, and then let me see if I've got actual footage. Oh yeah, and here.
See, now that looks great.
Yeah, that's a photo. So I put the camera on the bottom and I put the camera on top, and then that was before sphere mode. Or no. I don't remember exactly what I did. I can't hear myself in the video. I forget what I was doing when I was looking this up. Okay, sphere mode. I wanted to find a video where I actually put a 360. Oh, this is the footage from that. Let me watch that.
See that? I saw the name of that camera, and it looks kind of familiar, actually.
Yeah, but it's so thin, like the GoPro mount, like the Spark kind of gets pretty thin.
Yep.
But
good idea.
But I mean, It was pretty stable for 2018.
Oh yeah. Do you, Sean, do you do any kind of FPV stuff?
I tried to get into it because everybody else's channel is trying to get into it.
That's where I'm at too.
And I tried it, but I don't know that I have the patience for it.
It's definitely a learning curve because, like I said, I've got a Tiny Hawk. Well, I had the one, got the two. Took me forever just to get it in the air. And then the weather set in here, and I haven't really had a chance to play with it much since the weather set in. But the thing about the FPV stuff is what I hope to do one day, to maybe 2 years down the road, is get proficient enough to integrate digital FPV footage in with GPS footage. I think there's a good blend there if you know exactly what you're trying to get.
Yeah.
Given a location and a scene. Because zipping around an FPV is fine to learn on, but man, that stuff will make you dizzy just watching it.
Yeah. Mel, I wish I could find that video, but maybe I'll add that to the list of videos to make. I know you've been asking that question for a long time. Camp's over, and all I have to do is work from my office in my PJs. So I'll try to put that video together for you. Well,
anyway, Sean, I just wanted to come on and say hi and to meet you and everything because I have followed you down for a little while. So it's good to talk to you, man.
Yeah. Have you watched the channel for long?
Not too long. I think I discovered you maybe 6 months ago, and it was on. It had something to do with the Insta stuff. I know it did because that's when I was researching it. You know, I'll always research stuff before I commit any kind of dollars to anything.
Yeah. I have completely failed on the Insta360 stuff lately. Like I bought the Go 2 and I bought the Insta360 One X. I think and I haven't done anything with them on my YouTube channel.
And honestly, to me, it's almost the 360 video is secondary right now. I have not found a good way to integrate it fully into something that I can use. Oh, wait a minute though. There's one video. Oh boy, I pissed some people off on Facebook. It was a 49-second video, and it was titled, what did I title it? My drone gets into some weird places sometimes. I took the Insta360 and shoved it underneath the waterfall, and it's kind of spun it around in there and kind of bumped the rock in there a little bit, and then drew it out really slowly, going up like you would at an angle the way a drone would, stopped at a certain point, marked it in my head, put the drone right there, spun it around towards the waterfall, and just started backing out.
That's awesome.
I had people going crazy for like weeks on that one. You didn't put your drone in that one. No way did you do that. I didn't say a word. I just let them have at it.
Yeah. I have a video on my channel. I bought the Insta360 3-meter selfie stick.
The long one, the 10-footer, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in that thing.
And I don't remember what I entitled it, but it was something along the lines of get drone footage, drone-like footage with your Insta360 or something like that.
And that's another thing too. On my video today, when I wasn't using it in time-lapse mode, I looked at the footage from when it was on normal video. It looked just like a drone was sitting over us.
Mm-hmm.
There was no bump as I'm walking. It was just, I'm really impressed with this camera. I'm telling you, I'm just so happy with it.
So this is for you, and this is for Mel, because I told Mel earlier in the stream to buy the Insta360 One X. So I want to show you how good the Insta360 One X. It's the same camera that Brian's got. It's just not waterproof. and the firmware has been, it's 2 years newer. So they've made some improvements, but the Insta360 Studio that you're going to use to edit your footage is 2 years newer and can handle the processing a lot better. But I'm going to add this to the stream and watch this. So this is the Insta360 One X on a selfie stick, and I'm just walking. You can see the stabilization is still amazing.
Yep.
Like, it's ridiculous how good it is. Even the sun in that shot, the 360 cameras used to really screw up the sun. They couldn't handle. Lens flares were awesome. There's always a red dot somewhere that you could follow around. They've fixed all those issues. You can tell by my shadow that I have a big selfie stick, or I'm really happy. And people make fun of me about that all the time. They're like, your shadow looks a little, but this was one of the first cameras that my entire hand was fine. My other 360 cameras used to like cut my fingers off, and my hand would, if you ever looked at my hand, it would just look weird. But in this shot, my hand just looks like I'm holding a microphone or something. So fast forward.
See what I'm saying? Just like it was showing there, you've got the thing out in front of you, and you're not bumping. You can't tell you're walking. It looks literally like you've either got a camera on a dolly in front of you, or a drone.
Can't even do that with a gimbal, like the Pocket, the Osmo Pocket. There's bounce all in it. But
you can mitigate the bounce somewhat, but you're never going to completely get it out.
Yep. So this is me showing off my big stick.
Eat more possum? Yes, I have. I did a goof one years ago when I first got the Osmo. I was running my trains, and I said, "Oh, that'd be a top-down look." I said, "Yeah, I think I did it." It was titled "Flying a Drone Over Railroad Infrastructure," and I said, "We need to catch this guy. He's dangerous." And it was just me doing the Osmo over my model trains.
Oh, that's awesome.
But there's another thing that Osmo is good for the trains. Ooh. I've laid it down on the track, and there is something to be done there. I need to start playing with that more.
Well, now that you brought up your trains, that would be a perfect thing for the Insta360 Go to. That would be perfect.
Yep.
Because it's magnetic, so you can put it on anything. So all you need to do is put a little like those like a little metal punch out or something like that.
They've got for the engines nowadays, they've got tiny camera mounts, and it work. Without a doubt it would. That's a great idea too.
Yep. I don't think the Insta360 Go has a 1/4-20 by itself. It has it on the case, but
anything can be rigged, like a Bob Casey says, a big stick.
Oh, yep. Every once in a while, I'll say something like that, and then I have to change my video to not safe for kids. I try to keep it as PG as possible because I know my kids watch my channel and stuff like that, and their friends are all subscribers. But
that is a long ass selfie stick. Holy
so crap. The only problem with this one is it's very wobbly because it's carbon fiber. It's very light, but it's got a little bit of bow to it. But this is the footage I took with it.
Okay, because it's close to the fence, you can see the little bit of bob, but the ground shot is perfect.
Yep. And then once I move away from anything close to me, well, that still looks kind of wobbly.
No, it looks like drone footage. You're right.
Yep.
That's bizarre. Yeah, I got to get me one of those.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So the other thing that I haven't done a review that I bought that I haven't done a review on for my channel, but you see how I went, I tried to do some FPV shots. I went through those poles. I kind of flew down. I'm kind of pointing the stick forward and I'm walking, and that looks kind of cheesy, but and you can see the reflection of the stick in there every once in a while. But I got that stick so tall, I got over the roof.
Wow.
So, but I bought a Neewer, Neewer. I bought a microphone boom stick. And it's 3 feet as well, but it's made out of aluminum, and it doesn't have the bow in it.
Okay.
And I think I have it. Let me see if I can find it. I should have had you on the 4-year anniversary show where I was showing old videos, because we have gone through memory lane tonight. This one, I think this is it. Oh, another ad. 2-minute truck.
Well, I thought they were just local to where I live.
So what I've got going on here is this is actually a microphone stand. And on Amazon, I bought for $10, I bought a little adapter that turns the top of a microphone stand into a 1/4-20.
Okay.
And then I have a Neewer. I look like a pirate in that hat, but I have a Neewer boom stand. And that's how high it got me up, but it's perfectly straight. And it was a windy day. I thought I had another video of it. I think these are all my test footage videos.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of those with those things.
Yep. And this is my Rode Wireless Go right here.
Uh-huh.
So there was that was the one shot where it was kind of bent, and I didn't see that it had, tilted over a little bit. Let me see if there's another shot. This is another shot with my Rode Wireless Go underneath the Insta360 ONE X2 in the stitch line, and
Unless you're looking for it, you're never going to see it.
well, it's not in this shot. This is actually the tripod.
Yeah.
Yep, I made it. I made a 360 printed mount where I took. There was someone had made a wireless Go adapter, and then I mixed that with a cold shoe mount, and I'm using the on Insta360 site. They have a small rig cage. It's like a metal small rig cage that has it has a place that you can screw something onto. And so I put that at the very bottom, and then I use that screw to put my Rode Wireless Go down on the bottom. And right there's a little bit of it. So it's not perfect yet. But
you wouldn't even notice it, because that looks like a smudge in the parking lot.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like it has anything to do with the camera.
But if you got your if there was a way to put it on your selfie stick, like maybe you got like a 6-inch or 12-inch aux cable to just, the farther it's away from that 360 camera, the better.
Yeah.
And I even thought about putting it on top. So all of those solutions were underneath the camera. But if you think about it, the two lenses are on the top of your camera, and those two lenses they overlap enough to keep that entire body that's about this tall out of the shot.
Yeah.
And the Rode Wireless Go isn't any thicker. So if you put it above those lenses, you've got a lot of play and overlap that I think they'll cut the Wireless Go right out.
And I've been sitting there the whole time we've been talking, trying to remember where I saw it was Kevin, Daddy of 13 over there in England. He slapped that Insta 361X 1x2 on the top of his Mavic Air 2, and even he said, because he's always got wind over there, he said it was pretty iffy. He didn't want to put it up that high.
Yep.
And I could tell, you got all the props were in the shot. The whole drone was in the shot. It still looked pretty cool though. But if you were trying to get something right below you, you weren't going to get it because the drone's in the way.
Mhm.
And he also said that the battery life was cut by 3/4. He didn't have it in the air 7 minutes, and it was already. And now that you mentioned earlier, it's a good thing you didn't blow out a motor.
Yep. Yeah, you could burn out a motor, and like I think I would trust a Mavic Pro. Like I've done it on the Mavic Pro and the Mavic Pro 2. Even the zoom is way better of a drone than
It's got
can
power.
handle some weight.
Yep.
I'll just say that can handle a payload, but like if your controller tells you that there's an extra payload or there's a weight issue, probably shouldn't fly it.
Because it's what it is the motors are going to overheat because they're going to work that much harder to keep that thing in the air.
Yeah.
Never thought of that. You gotta be
Yeah.
real careful.
So the motors are made to handle more than the weight of the drone to compensate for the extra wind. But if you've got weight hanging off your drone and you've got a windy day,
Not good.
then those motors are doing way too much.
Yeah.
That's why I love my Unique Typhoon H. The camera, the little, I don't know, pound and a half camera can come off, and then I can easily put a GoPro or that Garmin 360 is a heavy 360 camera, but that drone could handle it no problem because I took that much weight off of the drone. It was built for that weight.
Yep.
And then the Inspire the same way. Like that, the Inspire that I have was meant to handle the X5 camera with the micro 4/3 lens. Like I haven't put anything even remotely as heavy as that glass lens. So, but the Air 2S will definitely handle a little go.
Well, I've got the zoom, and I'm going to probably play with that more. If I'm going to wreck anything, I'd rather wreck the older tech.
Mm-hmm. Well, something that would be awesome with your zoom. So you've got the Zoom 2? The Mavic 2 Zoom?
Mavic 2 Zoom, yeah.
Okay, so have you seen any of my Drone Link videos?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
So Drone Link is like $20, and it's a way to create missions. Now your Zoom 2 has waypoints, so you can use waypoints with that. But I still think Drone Link's better than DJI's waypoints. Are you what I'm supposed to remove off the screen?
I think that right there. The only thing that I have in all the years that I've had my Mavic 2 Zoom that I found that waypoints to be useful for was chasing cruise ships. I set up a program out in Galveston, 2 drones. Well, there's 2 of us out there, but I'm flying both of them. The Zoom was set up with waypoints, literally taking shots from distance of the cruise ship going by. And I've got my Evo 2, or my Evo 1 rather, in front of the boat, right at the bow, looking at the dolphins.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I got lucky on that one.
That's really cool.
But yeah, that's the only time I've ever had any use for waypoints.
Okay. Well, let me show you something. This is a fun night for me. I'm glad you came on here. I didn't know how this tonight was going to go because I was exhausted and there were 2 people in here for a half hour.
Wow.
But
I hung it up, man. I do a live stream every now and again, like on a Friday afternoon. And if I don't get a certain amount of people, I'll just hang it up after an hour.
Yeah.
I can talk my ears off, but wow, look at this. That's some serious waypointing there.
Okay. So this is DJI waypoints, is it still you have to fly to the spot to capture the point?
Just the initial spot.
Okay, so you can draw it out on a map
Yeah.
now. Okay, good. Because I know with I forget what drone I had. I used waypoints on, and you had to. I think it was the Pro, and you had to go You had to go to the point, and then go to the next. Like you had to use one battery to make your waypoint mission, and then you could fly it with the second battery or something.
No, I mean, I remember being able just to do this on the map with my finger. Set them
Mm-hmm.
the path, camera angle, whether I'm shooting photos or video.
Yeah.
It's pretty good that way.
Okay, so think about this. So right now I've got my drone set to fly maximum 10 miles per hour.
Right.
But you can set the maximum to 5 miles per hour or even 3 miles per hour. Like you can make it go super, super slow, which is something you can't do with your thumbs, right?
Pretty
I
much.
mean, you can try, but like
That's what they make tripod mode for, and even
yeah. But even to be consistent, like my thumbs are like holding my little thumb muscles in one spot for 30 minutes.
yeah, that's kind of rough.
So this is kind of in my backyard. Those were the houses at the beginning that they were built. Well, they're built now, but they were building behind my house. And I set this mission for, it was a 3.5 mile mission that I just let run. And I didn't know if the connection was going to work. So I made the mission like it kind of goes kind of back and forth in my backyard. It only really goes like maybe 2,500 feet away
By
from
the way
me.
it's looping, I can see you've got some fail-safe points in case things start to go south, maybe.
Yeah, well, it's set to, so one thing I learned with Drone Link is you can set your failsafe to either hover, land, or return to home. But I was like, why would anybody want to land
Right.
in a place that they're not in control? I mean, you're in control all the time, right? Unless it goes into failsafe mode, you're not in control, and that's the whole point of the failsafe. So why would you want it to land in a river or land in a tree or something?
Or for that matter, even hover, because I mean, there's all kind of issues that even with hovering.
Yeah.
Okay, everything just died, and I've got no one to bring it back.
Yeah. Hover's kind of okay because you can take like five steps forward and all of a sudden you have connection again. But there's another video on my channel where it was a complete fail. I flew over to the water tower by my house and went around it, and I didn't think about the fact that I went I went uphill. So usually, like when I'm around a water tower, I'm close enough to the water tower that I can kind of go under it or around it or whatever. But that big ball of water just completely killed my signal. So it went around on the other side, and I kept slamming the return to home button for a little while. But this
when I first learned waypoints, I was using my neighborhood water tower to practice with, and I didn't think about what was going to happen when it went on the other side of that water tower, and it lost signal. And I had my RTH set to 200 feet. The water tower was at 185.
Oh my gosh.
The video is awesome.
Yeah, I bet. Close call.
I was sweating.
I had one of my Paradinafi videos. I had one. So everybody was complaining about the Paradinafi because it didn't have obstacle avoidance. So I did a whole video on how to fly a drone without obstacle avoidance, and I compared it to being able to back into a parking space before you had a rear camera on your car. Like I've been doing that for 20 years, and then all of a sudden there's a camera on the back of my car, and it's wonderful. But I mean, if you're gonna fly a drone in the air, you need to know how to fly it without all of your little handicaps and your like. If something goes wrong, you need to be able to get it back to you. But he was like, the Parrot Anafi is so stupid. I flew around this statue in Brazil, and then it stopped where it was, and then it just turned around and flew right into the statue. And I was like, well, you didn't have your return to home higher. So I did a whole video on like return to home altitude is very important. You like fly for 2 minutes and find the tallest thing, go up to the top of it and look over it, and then don't make your return to home anything lower than that. Or like, especially like flying around to school or something, like just fly up high enough so you can see the other side of the building, and then you'll be fine. But the return to home is always a thing. But okay, so I've been rambling and I completely forgot the reason I wanted to show you this video. So DroneLink is an application that's you can like I can create a mission and you can download it. Like it's like cloud-based things, and you can take this mission, grab it, and then apply it to your location. You can set all the different altitudes, but you can fly the same kind of curved path that I did. Like I did it with an Air 2. So eventually when the Air 2S is supported, you'll be able to fly it with this. But all the Mavics are already on DroneLink. And you can, if you strap your 360 camera onto that, DroneLink is based on GPS location and connection. So those are the two things that you need to make sure that your Insta360 camera is not conflicting with. But you were talking about like, the drone wobbling and stuff like that. With this automated flight, it's very consistent. It's very smooth. The turns are smooth, and your 360 camera, you want that to be kind of as smooth as possible, especially if you're going to go back and watch it in a VR headset. Yep. But like strapping my 360 camera on the bottom of this, like this is a 30-minute video, I think. How long is it? Okay, it's 18 minutes. I lied. But this is an 18-minute video that I can just hang out in a VR headset and look around my backyard if I did it with a 360 camera.
Yep.
I can, and I can watch that video over and over and over again and look at different things while I'm in my VR headset. And it's not going to make me sick or nauseous because it's so slow.
I never thought of that. That's a great way to use that thing. I never even considered that.
Yep. And if you recorded at 60 frames per second and then slowed it down to 30 frames per second, like it would be even smooth. Like this part's a little jerky. I'm not sure why it didn't handle this turn very well.
Antennas.
Oh yeah. Directional. Yeah. There's the water tower I failed at. But wow, this live stream is almost 3 hours long. What time is it? 9. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're probably later than I am. Are you in Central or Eastern?
I'm in Central, but it's daylight savings time. So
okay, yeah, same here.
Sometimes it's Eastern, and sometimes I'm same as Eastern, and sometimes half the year I'm the same as Eastern, and the other half I'm not.
I'm not sure where Nashville is on the map when it comes to that.
Yep.
Most of the guys that I deal with for the live streams are usually on Eastern.
Okay.
RTH. I'm looking at Eat More Possum. He did the exact same thing in an oil rig. RTH looked like inches above the oil rig. Boy, that was spooky. The oil rig, man, you're looking at water. Yeah, you hit something there, it's not coming back.
Yep. That's funny. Well, Brian, thanks for coming on. You're welcome to come back anytime.
It was my pleasure. It was
If you
great
want me
meeting
on,
you, Sean.
if you want me on your channel, just let me know.
Anytime I do anything live, it's really informal. I'll
Okay.
throw up something like an hour or two ahead of time and say, "Hey, come join me," whatever.
Okay.
But it's I enjoy doing this. It's like I tell my wife, "Hey, I'm hanging out with the guys. I'm in the house. Leave me alone."
Nice.
Sometimes I'll drink even.
And so your channel's called BMax Aerial Visuals.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody go follow, subscribe to.
Oh, I got everybody here.
Oh, do you? Well,
Yeah.
I get about 60 more viewers after the stream stops.
I usually lose them.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of viewers that are like out of the country, so they'll watch me in the while I'm sleeping.
Something about viewers too. I have been keeping an email list since this past November. You know how when their subscriber list is public and they subscribe to you, you get an email, right? Well, I keep all those emails. One of the guys that I knew I was subscribed to, I go, no, that's not right. I know him. And I went through and sure as shit, I subscribed to him back in December. And YouTube just took it away for some reason. Now, I do know you have to go in there and comment. You have to like every now and again on your subs, or maybe that's why they're taking away. I don't know. But it's kind of irritating that way.
Yeah. If you go back and look at my channel analytics, like there are days where I lose 2 subscribers, or like I break even, like I lost 2 and gained 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting. And I try to figure out like what video did I post that people wanted to leave when they saw it. Like why did they unsubscribe to me at that moment?
Most times it's either somebody doing house cleaning, which doesn't make a bit of sense to me, or YouTube doing what they say that they don't do, which is unsubscribe people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't worry about it as much anymore because I just enjoy doing what I'm doing,
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, me too.
Anyway, I don't want to keep you. So, like I said, Sean, it was a good meeting you, and I will be seeing you again. And everybody in the chat, if y'all are still here, y'all have a good evening.
Yeah.
Take it easy now.
All right. See you, Brian. Right. Well, it has been a show, y'all. It is 2 hours and 51 minutes and 32 seconds right now that I've been on this camera looking at y'all. And surprisingly, I'm more awake now than I was when I started this stream tonight. But thanks y'all for hanging out. I want to thank, let me pull up his channel name so I don't butcher it. Thank you for BMax Aerial Visuals for showing up. Brian. It's good talking to him. He was a fun guy to talk to. Very respectful and very nice, and had a lot of good thoughts, and it was fun bouncing around ideas with him. We meet every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central. And yeah, please like, subscribe to my channel, click on the bell for notifications when we put out more live streams and more videos on technology and tutorials and all the good stuff. Hope y'all have a wonderful week, and I will catch you on the next video. Peace out.